Well, I mean, the first thing I want to make note is, the comments that we just heard, which are factually correct, are scaring investors beyond belief to a point where they believe that end times are near for the United States, that the United States is about to collapse under a massive pile of debt. And that type of rhetoric is causing investors throughout this country to not be invested in markets, because if the technology bubble collapsed and the US housing market collapsed, then sure enough, the US government is about to collapse. And so the comments about the trust fund being out of money in 17 years, most people hear that as that's the end of time, right? They don't hear that we're still going to collect whatever we receive, and you might have to reduce benefits, which you accurately said. You might have to reduce benefits by 25%. None of us think that that's a good solution, but I think we need to be very careful about the rhetoric and what we're saying to investors, because they do truly believe that this government is about to collapse under a pile of debt. Now, the way I look at it, I see $20 trillion of debt in the United States right now for an economy that's $20 trillion. Right? And we say that's debt of 100% to GDP, and that worries people. The next sentence, of course, is 1/4 of that is owned by the federal government. So it's money that the government owes to itself. So we're at 75% of GDP, and that's going to get worse. But what are the assets of the federal government? Probably worth $200 or $300 trillion. So if you look at it from a liability to assets perspective, it's probably a different story. But that's not what you asked me. You asked me, do we have potential to solve it? Of course. I mean, as Josh talked about, you could eliminate the taxable maximum today, and you'd be funded out till 2090 or beyond, right? And a lot of people in this room would say that's a welfare transfer. Okay. So we can raise the retirement age, we can adjust the cost, we can get rid of the cost of living adjustments. There's things that we can do. We can do a combination of all of them. We can increase the payroll tax by 1%. So if you increase the payroll tax by 1%, raise the retirement age slightly, and get rid of the cost of living adjustment, you have more runway to go. So we don't have to say that, by the time my daughters are 17, this whole thing is going to collapse.